Sapphire PowerTools, a suite of products written by Sapphire to enhance the Sun Systems end user experience. They appear as a shortcut on the Favourites menu on the Sun Systems user, and we click on that and it opens the suite of Sapphire PowerTools. We're going to have a look at Workflow, and from within Workflow we have the options of Master Data Workflow and Transaction Data Workflow. We're going to look at our Master Data. Currently available we have Supplier Approval, Customer, Account and Analysis Code, and there will soon be bank details. The Supplier Approval initiation can be enabled to enable us to approve a supplier at the point of creation, or based around some criteria of that supplier, such as the region that the supplier may exist in or the credit limit. So what I'm going to do at the moment is I'm going to flick back to Sun, and I'm going to create a new supplier record to show the workflow. If I come into my suppliers, I'm going to create it with minimal information for the purpose of the DEM 81203. I'll be told it doesn't exist. I'll create it as Sapphire Systems PLC. There's some information that I have to put in that's mandatory, so the account code, the nominal ledger account code which the supplier will relate to, the account type of creditor. I'm going to come to my payment tab and I'm going to put in a credit limit of 7,000 and a warning limit of the same value. And I'm also going to come to my supplier analysis tab and I'm going to put in a region. Say OK to that. That's created the supplier record, and what would normally happen in Sun Systems now is that the supplier would be available to post to. But if I come to the chart of accounts record here for 81203 and just have a look, what we can see is that currently the status of the nominal ledger account code remains closed because the workflow hasn't been completed. If I come down to my email, the relevant approver in the process will have received an email in their inbox to advise them that a new supplier has been created in the system with a large warning limit. If I open that email up, I can see that it's got some text to tell me as the CEO, please can you authorise this new supplier with a credit limit of 7,000. It then embodies some information from Sun Systems, the business unit that I'm operating in, the new supplier code and the supplier name. I have three choices. I can go back to the originator and say that there are some amendments required, such as reducing the credit limit. I could outright reject it, or I can choose to accept it. I'll just click on accept and it's going to send an email back to the originator, the person that created or kick-started the workflow. I can type some additional information in here, or I can just send that back to the user and come out of my email then. That part of the workflow is completed, and what we can now do is we can see that an email has come back to the originator to see that the following supplier has been approved. It's talking to me logged in as Sun as Mr. PK1. The code should now be available for use within Sun Systems. If I come back into Sun Systems now, and if I just clear the screen and refresh that information, 81203, what I can see is that the account status is now open and the supplier is therefore available for me to post to. If we look at how that's working within the PowerTools workflow engine, we double click on the supplier approval initiation, and from in here we can see a flow chart that shows us how that information is being built. On the left hand side we have a tailored activities, so what do we want to happen at what point of the workflow process, some decisions, if this, true, if false, and some decision fields, so based on what information from Sun Systems are these rules going to take place. And you can just click and drag these items over to the workflow area. So the workflow that I just showed, what we can see is that a decision was taken if the warning limit is less than this amount. The data scope activity is that from the table supplier warning limit, if that is true, we should come down and we should send an email to the CEO with some embodied information from Sun Systems itself and the accept and reject, which are the activities or the autocomplete activities that take place. That is the workflow engine for the supplier approval. That can be extended out based on any criteria that sits within the supplier table, and likewise for the static information within Sun Systems for the customers' accounts and analysis.